We were so close. We were so close. And I know this is a theme. I understand this is like, I know this is like a theme that goes on with damn near every episode. I get it. And I know you're like, damn, get over it, Maurice. I get it. I get it. But we were so close right now to being able to launch a show, broadcast without a hitch, without anything going wrong. And it was like, the countdown went right. The pre-show went right. The countdown went right. The signature went right. We had one more hurdle to clear. One more, and that was that damn intro music. And as soon as I hit the play button, that's when it wanted to just scramble on the fritz, and it was like, nah, I don't want to work. And it's like, oh my god, of course, you know that's how. That's just the universe once again letting you know that it has a sense of humor that it does, and it's like I need to make sure you know that I am here and I'm here to ruin your life in every aspect that I can. But however, that's all behind us. The technicalities, the technical issues are behind us. We're ahead of it. We're ahead of the game now, and now we're moving forward with progress. That's what it's all about. Progress. That's the word of the day, everybody. Progress, all right? And we're seeing progress on a number of different ways. But before we get to that point, let's progress our way into a very well-earned welcome. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the 23rd Hour. This is Maurice Prophet, your guy. I'm here to chop it up with y'all. And this is not going to be a detailed breakdown review because I'm pretty sure you're like, wait, there's no pay-per-view today. There's no big event that's happening right now. Nothing went on this morning. Well, technically it did just go on this morning. We'll touch on that in a second. So what's going on? This is like, remember last week when I was talking to you guys, the last time I was on here, I was telling you guys I wanted to kind of like I want to start warming into a new iteration of this show, a new way about going about things when it comes to how we do the show and whatnot. And this is one of them. You know, I want to be able to come at y'all on days where there aren't any big events, no big pay-per-views or, you know, any noteworthy events to be able to talk about and just chop it up with y'all about, you know, what happened in the week and be able to kind of go over those very topical issues that were taking place all week and what everyone's been buzzing about. Just a short little something so this way we can kind of like kind of touch base and you can give me your thoughts and tell you mine what I think about. You know, nothing too big, nothing too spectacular, nothing too over the top or anything like that. In fact, this is probably gonna be a very short episode. So, you know, we're gonna get it all in as quick as we can, a little maybe like a little 30-minute joint, and then go from there, basically, you know, and we'll see how it goes and everything. But with that being said, I think that it's definitely worthy to mention off the top. Big shout out and big congratulations to um, Kenoshi Takeshita for winning the G1 Climax or last night, early this morning in Japan. And I'm watching the final night right now. And to be honest, I actually wanted to watch it. I wanted to watch it when it came on this morning. I got up randomly at like 3 something, and I'm like, dude, I should turn on that G1, and I did. But when you get to the app, when you scroll, you get out of the app that you're on, you scroll to New Japan, you go into it, you find it, you hit play. And by that time, my body was like, bro, I know damn well you were not trying to watch no damn TV at 2:30, 3:30 in the morning, whatever it was. Yeah, you can find your program, but you are shutting back down as soon as your head hits the pillow, and that's exactly what happened. And I was lights out. I woke up to a whole black screen and everything. I was like, oh damn. All right. that plan did not work. So I'm watching on playback mode right now, and I'm gonna get to the match in a little bit. I'm watching the rest of the card, see how everything else was. This was the first year actually where I was able to really do my best of following the G1, because I always had to just follow the news, follow the timeline, follow what the wrestling sites were saying about what the updates were. And for the most part, I kind of did that this year. But I am happy I was able to get a few nights in to be able to actually watch it live as it was happening. And granted that these were weekend days where I had nothing going on in the morning, so there wasn't that many. But still I was able to do that and also be able to catch up on the ones that I didn't watch the next day. So that was really good. Shout out to New Japan World for being able to have give us access to that, because what was great about it is that you can watch the G1 tournament without the premium package on the New Japan World app. So if you just have the regular app that's like $10 a month, you can watch the whole tournament right then and there. You ain't gotta do no paywall thing or wait 30 days for it to be available. You can watch it right then and there and live in some cases. So that was really cool and everything. But hell yeah, man, to Takeshita, that was awesome. I mean, he really has ascended to be one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers in 2025. After the match he had with Will Ospreay that first week of that Dynamite on that first week of April of this year, or that I believe it was when was it? I can't remember what the day it was. I remember it was during WrestleMania. WWE's WrestleMania week, but that match in pro wrestling that's happening right now. So hell yeah! So seeing him win the G1, I got to see him live when he wrestled when he wrestled when he wrestled his match when they were here in Chicago, and just being able to see how he. But just being able to see how he has ascended really into this respected main eventer has been really amazing. So hats off to him for winning it, and that's definitely well deserved. And so let's let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it, especially deserving things. Let's talk about it. So the news this week has been very, very heavy. Has been running around like crazy when it comes to just the buzz that's happening right now, when it comes to just I would say the overall business practices of WWE and their intentions of what's happening with pro wrestling in general. The first half of the week, we were getting a lot of word about WWE once again trying to block or trying to counter program one of AEW's pay-per-views. So apparently for AEW All Out, which I believe is September 20th, the word came out that WWE is looking to book one of their PLE shows, one of their PLE shows on September 20th as well too, to counter AEW. There hasn't been a time set for All Out. Nothing has been made official yet about that, and same with the WWE side. Like nothing has been official about the 20th of September when it comes to their PLE show. But there's kind of like one of those things now. It's like I'm waiting to see what you do. Now I'm waiting to see what you do. Now I'm waiting to see what you do. Now I'm waiting to see what you do. It's kind of like one of those things right now that's happening between both the promotions. And the rumor is that they're looking to have Brock Lesnar against John Cena at this PLE show that WWE is looking to put on September 20th to make sure they, muddy the waters and, for and kind of like, piss in the Kool-Aid for AEW and make sure that they are able to take away viewers, from their show. To be totally honest with you, it's really annoying. It's really bothersome because the thing is though, it's that like you're not operating on a good faith because if you have complete confidence in the product that you produce, then you wouldn't be worried about what's happening on the other side and what's happening over there. Because according to WWE, and they have been on the record saying that AEW is not a threat of us. They're not on our radar. We don't think about them. We don't conduct our business according to how they conduct business. They have nothing to do with us. So, but now we have been seeing those tides have really turned. And the reason being is because this year, especially 2025, we have seen a great deal of just consistent, excellent programming and excellent pro wrestling coming from AEW. And with that, the buzz has been very heavy when it comes to AEW garnering a proper level of respect from pro wrestling fans, where it really wasn't there too much a year ago, or even 2 years ago, where it was more heavily criticized because like the booking decisions that were going on, and like a lot of WWE fans not wanting to see a proper competitive promotion be in the position that they're in, to be as close as they are to the sun as AEW was getting. And however, there were reasons to be able to lash out this kind of criticism to AEW because you look at a lot of the arenas that they were booking and they weren't all the way filled, and I think that was because people would say, why are they still going to arenas they can't fill them? Well, like when you have a contractual agreement with with a venue, you want to honor your agreements. So it's like, okay, like we may not be able to sell it out or anything of that nature, but we have a contractual agreement with this arena. We want to keep business, we want to keep a good working relationship with each other. So we're going to honor that commitment. So of course there was some going to those arenas, but notice that indifference in the way how their they approach their event, and it presents in a different way. Also, it's a much more intimate setting where you don't have to worry about trying to cram, like 13,000 people into an arena, where you have a venue that holds maybe a couple of thousand, but the energy in there translates so well on television that it didn't matter if you were watching a show that had only 2,000 people in the venue. On TV, it looked incredible. Being there in person looks and feels amazing. So it definitely is a win-win. And because they were able to really capitalize off of that opportunity to be able to accentuate the positives when it comes to producing a show in a smaller venue, then that's where you saw people kind of change their tone a little bit, because it's like the criticism that was there last year from a lot of WWE fans when it came to AEW's venues. It was like, okay, guess what? We're no longer in those 12,000 seat arenas anymore. We're in these more smaller compact arenas now. And the show looks great, the energy is amazing, and the action is awesome. So you kind of take that seam away from them. They don't really have too much to be able to say about that. Then you couple that with when there was all the talk about there was going to be they're not getting any type of TV deal or anything of that nature, and they're going to be dead in the water. Boom! The last fall, late last 2024, they announced a TV deal that they have with Warner Brothers when it comes to the deal with HBO Max, with TBS, with TNTs, with Warner Brothers in general, and seeing that no, they want to work with them for a long time, for quite some time. I think it's like a 5-year deal they have with them at the present moment. So that takes away the whole narrative that they weren't going to be able to secure a TV deal and they're going to be dead in the water and everything. So you can't say that anymore. So the only thing you can really turn to is the pro wrestling aspect of what's happening in the ring. And guess what? We're getting amazing matches, incredible moments week after week, and pay-per-views that are on platinum levels, like in terms of this quality. So we're getting that on a consistent basis. So there really isn't a whole lot of room anymore to be able to make those criticisms. So because of that, this now they look like a threat to the WWE. They look like a threat. And they're seeing that fans really are taking to them now, like in terms of the narrative being out there, like, hey, we prefer the WWE, but good Lord, what I watched last night on the AEW pay-per-view, that blew my mind. And you're starting to see that more and more and more. And now, because of that, because that narrative has shifted, and because the online criticism isn't as heavy, as it's not as dense as it was a year ago, now you have WWE kind of shaking their boots, like it's not what we were expecting. They're actually putting on quality TV shows. Yeah, how can we change this? What can we do to be able to manipulate things? I know, we'll counter program. We'll put on one of our shows when they're having shows. This way people can get distracted. And the All In weekend was the best example of this. We saw it head on, that for a pay-per-view that was going to be for one day, a one-day pay-per-view, they had to load in an NXT show. They had to load in a Saturday Night's Main Event. They had to load in the all women's Evolution show. It was like, this just screams desperation. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, though, is that the fans can't deny it, because WWE and their loyal, incredibly loyal fan base have been on record saying that AEW is not competition. But guess what? I can't tell, because the way how y'all are going about the counter programming lets me know that y'all are shaking your boots, that somebody up there is a little nervous and they sweating a little bit. You know what I mean? So you have to keep it 1,000 and just be honest with yourself. Like, just admit the fact that this is a competitive promotion. They are putting on good material, and we are a little nervous. Yeah, we have all the money in the world. Like, WWE has all the money in the world. They can do whatever they want. I get that. They can book whoever they want. They can go wherever they want. They can freaking put WrestleMania on the moon if they want to, right? And their loyal fan base are going to follow them everywhere they go. But the thing is, though, is that what AEW has going on is so organic that you cannot buy it. You have to be able to build it and create it, and that's what they're doing. And somebody who isn't a creative, someone who's not a creative, and who just who feels that purchasing power trumps. When a person with that kind of mentality, they can only go to the one area that they're familiar with, and that's just buy. Do whatever we can. Open the checkbook, open blank check here, write whatever amount on there that you need to do in order to win to buy a victory. That's what's happening right now. And so I just wish that they would I wish that they would admit that that's what they're doing, that we are creatively inept to be able to match what's happening with AEW. So we just have to go about the route of just buy up territory however you can. And if it means buying Evolve, it means buying AAA, if it means buying TNA, do what needs to be what needs to be done in order for us to be able to get to the mountaintop once again and be able to secure our spot. Because we can't do it with our brains, but with our bank account, though, we could definitely make that happen. And one prime example of this, of what I'm talking about, is what's happening right now with this quote unquote partnership that's going on with the WWE and TNA. Now, last year when that was announced about the partnership, I came on here and told you all, this is a prelude to a buyout. This is exactly what this is. It's a prelude to a buyout. It's nothing more, nothing less. And people were telling me, no, it's not. They're gonna work together, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be equitable. Equitable in WWE? Where? How? Explain that to me, for real. And now we're seeing that. We're seeing what the real end game is. So and that's why I was looking down for a second, guys. So I wanted to look at my phone. So I want to read to you what was said about this, about what's happening right now when it comes to this ongoing relationship that's happening with the WWE and TNA. Here is the skinny. So this is from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. And granted, I know everyone knows about this. I know it's been like the big news all week and everything. So granted, I know that people have they have thought about this, let it simmer a little bit. So please feel free to drop your comments in the comment section and let me know what you think, what your thoughts are. So according to Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer, WWE has an option, and listen to these words, right? Has an option to buy TNA for a specific time period. They also have the right of refusal if TNA finds another buyer that is not them. All right. Meltzer was told through a WWE source that the deal is very similar to what the company previously had with multiple independent wrestling companies in the UK when the NXT UK was a thing. Now, as a potential buyer for TNA, Meltzer made it clear that anyone looking to do so will need to be friendly with the WWE. What does that sound like to y'all? For real, what does that sound like to y'all when y'all think about that, right? What does that sound like to y'all? When you put the entire scope together, when it comes to the relationship that was built, the partnership that it was, also even taking into consideration the history, the previous history that TNA has had with WWE prior to 2024. And even this whole thing about, refusal to buy, they have they have the whoever is going to be the purchaser has to be friendly with WWE. What does this sound like to y'all? This sounds like this. WWE is the pimp. TNA is the prostitute. WWE's pimping them out. Like you are like categorically you are mine. You are mine. I control you. I've been controlling you when you watch the programming, because TNA looks a lot like NXT Light right now. I have been controlling you. I have say so into what goes on creatively with your product. Your world champion comes from our brand. Your women's world champion comes from our brand. The knockout champion comes from our brand. And we make this very, very, very WWE, or NXT, I should say. However, if the pimp don't want the prostitute, the pimp is going to be like, I've done enough with you already. I'm cool on you. But my boy, though, my guy, he gonna take it from here. How is that any different from if there's another buyer that has interest in purchasing TNA? They must be friendly with the WWE. How's that any different? How? It's almost damn near like trafficking. Excuse me. It's almost like that movie with Michael Douglas that came out in the early 2000s. I just don't want to say the word because I don't want to get in trouble. But you feel me though, right? And so I'm like, and the thing is, I'm reading this. I'm just like, this is already a done deal, damn near. This already solidified that this is gonna be an acquisition by the WWE like now. So just get it over with. Like, what are we waiting for? Just get it over with. This has to be like the worst kept secret. When they announce it, it's going to be the worst kept secret ever in pro wrestling because everyone knows where this is going. But my thing is though, is that like TNA, damn, way to really just say, I don't care about our legacy. I don't care about our lineage. I don't care about having pride in this in making this a company that has its own personality because it doesn't anymore. Like at one time, TNA had its own personality. It had its own like aura about itself. It really was a great alternative if you wanted to get away from the other larger brands. I enjoy TNA for that aspect because sometimes I was like, I just cannot stomach WWE. I need some pro wrestling to go watch. And you got good pro wrestling in TNA, but you don't get that anymore because now you have the WWE model and their formula has integrated itself way too deep into that brand. But that's what I'm saying. But going back to the brand itself and everything, though, it's like y'all completely have said just, hey, whatever you want to do with me, I will bend over. Y'all go to town, do whatever it is that you want to me. I don't care. I just want you to like me the way how you making me feel right now. Like, dude, like it's just such it's such a vivid example of insecurity. And it's crazy seeing it coming from a company of this magnitude. At one point in time, it truly was the number one company in the United States for pro wrestling. It really was, without the WWE influence, without it whatsoever. And then it had a lot of internal issues, and it fell off. AEW comes into the fray. Thank God, because now we have another viable alternative from the sports entertainment giants, and because they're doing as well as they're doing with the partnerships, the true partnerships, let's say, that they have established, and even with the organic build up and organic growth that the company has seen when it comes to their fan base, based on what the product that they're putting into the ring, because we are seeing them doing it the right way. Then over here you have Triple H and them looking at like, oh crap, oh, we need to get rid of that problem now. And that's what's happening, because now even they're talking about if once they get everything established, whatever, with TNA, the discussion of possibly moving now I don't know how true this is. This might be just a rumor of possibly putting a Wednesday night show on to go up against Dynamite. So moving TNA to Wednesday nights instead of Thursday nights. It's like come on, like dude. Number one, we've seen this dance already before when y'all tried to go up against when y'all had NXT going up against Dynamite, and that did not work. Number two, I'm sorry, but I just don't know of any wrestling fans that are going to be like, if I'm watching AEW, if AEW and TNA are on, oh, I gotta watch that TNA product. For what? When Collision goes on Thursdays, I would like to see those numbers, but I don't think that it suffers as bad as it does when TNA is on. And so I just guess I'm just looking at like what I can ask what the end game is. We know what the end game is, but what really are you expecting? Like, you really are expecting to think that you have a loyal fan base when it comes to pro wrestling, just automatically pivoting because you're a WWE affiliate company? No, it's not. I feel that fans are now starting to really grow into themselves and really starting to get tired of the bullshit, if I can say, and really starting to see like, I don't have to. I don't have to just only limit myself to only what is put on by Triple H and Nick Khan. I don't have to just limit myself to just only WWE type of branding and shows, because they've already oversaturated the market already. They're already all over the damn place with everything else that they do. And I saw someone, man, can I pull it up real quick? I saw someone on my Facebook. They posted something that I thought was really interesting. And it's very germane to what we're talking about right now as well, too, if you give me a second. Because it talks about oversaturation. And oversaturation will it can go against you. Like when it's too much of a good thing, it can go against you. Now I'm on this person's page, and of course I cannot find. Okay, yeah, they said that every win. Oh no, not. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. It says not every win needs a press release, and I thought that was church, and and what they said in addition to it, they said if I feel another weird thing is when you win so much and have tons of things good going on, sometimes people in your home market consider it bragging, and then they start tuning out. I learned even winning has a shelf life, and that's true. And that's true. That's very true. That's very, very true. And but like when you every time, but it's like every time right now, especially since the acquisition from TKO, you're seeing them everywhere. They're everywhere in terms of like not just on Monday nights, not just on Friday nights, but Tuesday nights, and then you see them the LFG, and then you're seeing them putting on podcasts every damn day. I turn on ESPN. There's Paul Heyman on. I turn on the NFL Network to watch some Good Morning Football. I see Seth Rollins is on there. I'm like, you cannot get away from them. And Grant, I know you're saying, Maurice, that's just marketing. How's that any different from what you're doing with B-Side? I understand that. And I know that marketing is so incredibly pivotal, but at the same time, marketing is also a science also as well, too. And that's the thing though, is that thing, and that thing is that there really is a difference though. So hold on one second. So Chris Gallagher goes, I am a true AEW hater. Collision got their ass kicked by Triple Mania last night. So I don't do the whole like numbers game or anything like that. I don't know what the numbers for Collision look like. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen what the numbers for Collision look like, and I didn't watch Triple Mania either. But I did watch Collision. The Collision was a really good show. Was a really good show last night. There was a lot of good wrestling on there. I don't know what happened with Triple Mania because the only thing I've seen on Triple Mania on the timeline, which is people talk about the puppet. There was a puppet match that happened last night with Finn Balor to Iguana. So I saw people talk about a puppet match on Triple Mania, but so I didn't so yeah, so I haven't seen that yet. So I don't know how the matches were or anything of that nature. But and then he says that Lucha Libre AAA is the west of Mexico. MX. Okay. All right. So they're the west is the west of Mexico. And he says that WWE should buy New Japan Pro Wrestling. But do you think Goto would sell to WWE? That's the question. Would he be willing to sell? Just because somebody wants to buy something doesn't mean that it's automatically for sale. So that's also a question that could be asked and everything. But I don't know. I'm not sure. And that's another thing is that if WWE were interested in New Japan, I think New Japan is kind of like, especially that's going to be on this new regime. Are they going to be willing to be like, I don't know if we want our brand to be to be manipulated by the WWE, because we have seen what they have done as of late. So I don't know. I'm just we'll see about that. Now he says that AEW is not helping New Japan, which I don't agree with, and the reason why I'm gonna say that is because that, personally speaking, as an AEW fan, personally speaking, they have personally given me access on to know a lot of the roster, because I was always the kind of like, okay, I want to know about New Japan Pro Wrestling. I want to understand, like, what the roster looks like, what the shows look like, the storylines, all that good stuff, and everything. But how do I keep up with it? And people will say you just have to look online, so I would do that. But I only get like things here and there or whatnot. I wouldn't be able to see like full matches or whatever it may have you. However, AEW made a lot more accessible to me as an AEW fan to be able to be introduced to all these wrestlers who come from New Japan, to be able to be have a greater understanding of who they are and what they're all about. So I don't know. I don't agree with that. Maybe for some people it doesn't seem that way, but for me personally, they have really have helped me understand a lot when it comes to the New Japan brand and what's going on right now, and even to the point where IE was even motivated enough to get New Japan World as well too. So hats off to AEW for putting that influence out there and everything. So yeah. He says that he quit watching wrestling. I quit watching AEW because the storylines are trash. And I feel you. I feel you, because that's where I'm at with WWE right now. WWE, I really am at a point where I'm just like, I can no longer really mess with it, because the storylines are very much all over the place, and the wrestling is god awful. It's absolutely terrible. Like when you watch what they do in the ring, it's very bad. I know people like the spectacle of WWE, and they like the big lights, and they like to do the chants, and they like do the sing-alongs and everything like that, and they like the nostalgia. But when it comes to the bell ringing and what we actually get once the bell rings, is a good chance that you're going to see something in the ring that's very basic and very mediocre. There are a few wrestlers. There are some wrestlers over there who really do work their tails off. Like I like Roxanne Perez. I like Ivy Nile. I like Chad Gable when they're actually wrestling their matches. But for the most part, I'm just not into the whole chanting and yeeting and singing and and all that stuff, because it's become a sing-along with bad matches. So I totally get you on that. I totally get you on that and everything. And obviously, and that's what makes it so great, is that there's something for everybody. There really is something for everybody when it comes to this game. And that's why I understand like why it's so imperative for the WWE to feel like we must acquire all means, all ends, so this way we can completely be the sole controller of professional wrestling. And that right there is like like who as a true pro wrestling fan wants to have that? Because you can have, yes, your sports entertainment can exist. Absolutely. Sports entertainment can exist. And you have, obviously, there's clearly a massive fan base for sports entertainment. Absolutely. People like to come out to the shows. They like to, they do like to, come out, do the chants, do the yeeting. They like to see celebrities, in the ring taking bumps and everything like that. They like that. I get that. There's a large amount of people who like that. But there's also a large amount of people who love and who really do thrive off of just the sweet science of professional wrestling that takes place inside the ring. And that's why I'm saying, like, these things can exist together. It doesn't have to just be one game in town. We saw what it was like when it was one game in town when WCW was purchased by WWF. And granted, we were in the Ruthless Aggression era at the time, or actually like the very baby the early stages of it. But it was kind of like, it will be nice to have something else. So once TNA came into the fray, and what was that, 2003 or so? Or ROH, I'm sorry, ROH came into the fray around 2002, 2003. And then TNA came into the fray around mid 2003. And once we had that going on, it really was kind of a breath of fresh air of, because we went a couple of years without another promotion to be able to be able to watch. So yeah, man. So like that's what I'm saying. Like, we've experienced this before. We've been down this road before. We know what it's like. Why are we so willing to accept it now when we have proven, when there is a proven model showing that two things can exist at the exact same time: sports entertainment and professional wrestling? But they don't seem to get that though. And I think that really does bother the hell out of them. That bothers the hell out of the WWE, knowing that there's another alternative out there that is thriving, is doing well, it is okay, and they're doing fine without the tutelage of the WWE. And I think that really does get to them. I know we have another comment really quick. All right. This gentleman, Chris, says, I am an old school wrestling, like Mid-South Wrestling, UWF, and World Class Championship Wrestling, and Jim Crockett promote. Yeah. You understand how the territories were, right? You were around for all that, and you have a great appreciation of that old that old school setup. And that's the thing, is that with you bringing up the territories, that once again, that kind of caters to my point about how you can have different subsects be existing at the exact same time. It doesn't have to just be one entity, is all I'm saying. And that's what we're seeing right now. And I'm sorry, and to be honest with you, it's a little bit scary, because the way how it's like the worlds are just being completely taken away from the professional wrestling world, because WWE is acquiring so much so fast. It kind of lets you know that not everything is safe. So I highly feel that AEW really needs to put their foot in the gas pedal and really be able to get on the ball when it comes to being even more competitive. Because granted, I understand that what they have, the model they have right now, when it comes to being the alternative solution, when it comes to being actually phenomenal wrestling that's taking place inside the ring, it looks like that's like WWE kind of has declared war. And now it's like, now we got to kind of get our hands a little bit dirty and do some dirty tactics. What's beneficial is that Tony Khan is in a financial position right now, where because of his stake with the Jaguars, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and with one of the football soccer teams overseas as well. I cannot remember what team it is off the top of my head. So I know y'all know, but because of his stake into those those organizations, he has the financial backing to be able to be financially competitive with the WWE. You have seen a significant turnaround when it comes to their marketing ventures. You have seen a significant turnaround when it comes to their strategy as well too, in terms of how they're working with partnerships with corporate sponsorships. Like they have a new sponsorship with White Castle, I believe. They have a shoe partnership as well too. I can't remember with what shoe brand, but you're starting to see those also with Upper Deck, I believe, as well too. So that's what I'm saying. They have they have those going on. They are building the inroads, and I know that it's going to be a while. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it is attainable though. Is all I'm saying though. Look, all I'm saying though is that as fans, even though I'm not the WWE fan that I once was some years ago, I can say that they have a fan base that deserves to have them, because they provide an outlet for that fan base that gives them a place to be able to find relief, to find joy, to be able to find some type of just an outlet of happiness. And so I applaud that. You know what I mean? I applaud that. However, because not everyone wants to be part of that outlet, and everyone finds solace in another outlet that's over here, it doesn't mean that you have to completely obliterate that other outlet to make sure that you are happy, and it doesn't work that way. And I feel that a lot of fans will start to really see that as well too. But only time will tell. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. A lot has gone on this week when it comes to not only counter programming, but also when it comes to just like the overall relationship that's happening with TNA and WWE. And it's funny to me because I just remember the days when they hated TNA so much. They hated TNA so much, but now here we are in the position where like a lot of WWE fans are are really rallying behind seeing that this buyout happened, so it can be a WWE brand, and they feel like they can have permission to enjoy TNA. So I mean, like you've always been able to have the capabilities of being able to like what you like, but it doesn't have to always be under the tutelage of the WWE. But that's how they make it seem, though. But I digress. So but it's just interesting to see what's going to happen with this. And to be honest with you, I hate that it's going down this way because TNA had such a very unique personality away from everyone else that really distinct itself away from everything else. And we're not going to see that anymore. We're not going to see that any longer. And it's one of those things where this really was the end of the era. So yeah, just one of those things. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm going to get out here in a little bit, guys. Next week is Forbidden Door, AEW Forbidden Door. We're going to check it out next week, and we're going to talk about it as well, too. I cannot wait. That card looks absolutely insanely incredible. So I am really looking forward to seeing what this what the show is going to be looking like and everything, and see what the go home week between Dynamite and Collision is going to look like this week as well too. I believe they're in Scotland this week, so it should be a really lively crowd. I'm looking forward to see how that all comes about and everything. It should be a really great show, a really great pay-per-view next week. I cannot wait. We'll probably do a little pre-show 23rd hour in the next Sunday morning. Just kind of chop it up real quick before we get into the pay-per-view. We'll watch the pay-per-view, and then we'll come back here and we'll talk about and chop it up about what happened on the show and everything. Real quick, Chris Gallegos, he said, I grew up watching the Four Horsemen in the 80s. Hell yeah, during the golden era, baby. That's what I'm talking about, Chris. See, you know what's up, man. See, you already know what the deal is and everything, man. So that's good stuff right there. Hey, Chris, I appreciate you commenting as well, too, man. I see you're on YouTube. Thank you very much for commenting, man. You contributed to the show, with your thoughts and everything. And then I encourage everyone else that's watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, please feel free to comment. Please feel free to ask questions. Give me your take on what you feel is happening, what's going on as well too, and what your whole idea about, or what your thoughts are about this, what's soon to be acquisition that's going to be happening very soon between TNA and WWE. What are your thoughts? So I would love to hear what you guys say. Make sure you follow B-Side Studios on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitch as well too, on other platforms. We always have content coming out all the time. Tomorrow morning is a brand new episode of The Nerdium that's going to be broadcasting live on YouTube. So if you already are subscribed to the channel, make sure your reminders are all set and everything like that. Check it out. It's going to be at 9:00 a.m. Central Time. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. This is where you get all the notifications about when our new shows are coming out. But you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a brand new episode of Nerdium. Guess what? I'm the guest host. So you're going to see this face once again. Liz took the day off. So I filled in the chair. I had a great time. It was a fun time. We revisited some of the best episodes of the Nerdium. And I even got on the Super Nintendo. Wait till you see what game I chose for Super Nintendo. It's going to blow your mind when you see, oh my God, I forgot about that game. Oh man, it was a great time though, guys. It was a really great time. And speaking of great times, this was a great time hanging out with you all, being able to chop it up with you all for this hour, talk about the news, that's what's going on right now in pro wrestling. And like I said before, I want to do this a little more frequently on Sundays with you guys. So we will be back. We will be doing this once again next Sunday and hopefully beyond. So let's keep it going and everything. Shout out to everybody who watched. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Had a really great time with you all. Thank you, Chris Gallegos, as well too, for commenting on the page. It was great chopping it up with you, Chris. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so which way we can chop it up next time. And other than that, though, we are out, guys. Enjoy your Sunday. The Bears play tonight preseason, so go check out the Bears game. I know I'll be watching it as well too. I'm gonna watch that Takeshka G1 final match right now as well too. I'm gonna catch you on the flip side. All right, y'all have a great week. I'll talk to you. Be cool. All right.